Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickel is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Psychic Hour on WLTK-DB. Let's Talk Radio. I'm Kelly Brickel, and today is the reading show, so we are going to be taking questions in a little bit, doing numerology readings and psychic readings, so just pop down what you have, and away we go. It's just whatever I'm drawn to, whether it's a card reading, sometimes I do cards, the numbers, or I just feel into it. That's how we roll. And it's great to see you. It's great to see everybody. Today it is Wednesday. It doesn't feel like a Wednesday to me. I don't know. Some days just feel like so oomph. It feels like this, and it feels like a Friday already. It doesn't make an ounce of sense. It doesn't make an ounce of sense. The lovely Lionsgate portal opened up at its peak. Well, it opened up actually around the end of July, but it opened up further with the rise of its energy on the 8th. And people talk about 8/8 is the peak, and it really is more an astrology philosophy and knowing about the Leo constellation and how it lines up in the night sky with Orion and Sirius and the portals of energy that we receive from that activation. But in numerology, it's the acknowledgement of 8 energy present. And there's a lot of crossovers in numerology and astrology. Differences, but really, really strong crossovers. Like, for instance, the energy of Leo is correlated with 8 energy a lot, with like similar archetypes and similar patterns, even in the zodiac in Chinese astrology, Eastern astrology, because a lot of times we talk about Western astrology, but there's Eastern astrology, and there's crossovers there with how dragons and Leos and 8s, and it's the symbol of power. And in numerology, 8 is the symbol of truth and power. It's the symbol of physical power. And so even in Eastern numerology, so it's like all these little things, like it doesn't matter where you are in the world, there's certain things that just line up, and it's really exciting when you have those moments across energy systems. But for the number of 8, it's a very physical number in numerology. It's a very, very sturdy physical number. It requires great responsibility. But there is outcome always. And the outcome is either you didn't do the work, and so wah, or you did the work, now you get the prize. And so it has very weighty energy because it will drag you down and say, hey, you need this before you can have that, or all systems go. And the surge of energy that comes from that is quite powerful. So it has the potential to destroy with its power and to create with its power. And 8 energy actually can accelerate things and make things happen very quickly. It also causes a lot of delay. It swings very powerfully in each direction. That's why a lot of people are quite confused by 8 energy, honestly, or they have sometimes difficult lives when there's a lot of 8s in someone's chart. When someone has a lot of repeated numbers, it's usually not always the most helpful thing. Like if someone has a lot of 2s or 5s, it means that their life will predominantly have this lesson where they're forced into multiple times. And the intensity of that lesson is rather, um, you know, affecting. So 8 by itself is very affecting. So if you have a lot of 8s in your chart, yeah, you could have late bloomer energy. We talk about it a lot. or setbacks. And with the eight, that's actually encouraged a bit because eight energy requires you to account for way more. Eight energy requires you to operate from truth. And some of us are born knowing in certain categories, and that is fantastically beautiful. But we're here on Earth School. We're here on Earth to learn and to acquire and go, oh, this is why I did this, or this is why they do that. Or, oh, that's the way to go. So it's about finding truth on the path. And in order to act through that and act in that, in the power and the vibration of eight, you have to have gone through stuff or you have to be willing to do the work, right? So eight forces you to do the work, whether there is resistance and kicking and screaming, or there is ease, but there's a lot of work behind that ease. And when I say that, it's the person knows within their truth, they go, oh, I'm going to have to do A, B, and C, and D in order to get that. Or I have to count for all these things. Do I have those skills? Do I have those capabilities? And if you do, well, then boom, it comes to you. And so some people might go, oh, well, it just comes to them with so much ease. It comes with so much ease because the skills were in place. And that's how eight energy works. For other numbers, you can actually acquire things quickly or more difficult in a difficult sense, I'll say, based on different principles. Okay. But eight requires the truth. Eight requires the work and the knowing, the one and the same. Okay. I kind of sometimes like to talk about astrology because I feel like people have more of there's more archetype awareness out there with astrology versus numerology, okay? And eight energy is kind of like the energy of Jupiter and Saturn, okay? You could have great luck with Jupiter or you could have great setbacks with the Saturn and that's how it swings. So hopefully that gives someone another angle on it. But anyway, so ultimately the theme of the day that I wanted to talk to, I got kind of like numerology inspired. And part of the reason why I did is because, well, in about 2 weeks time I'm going to be debuting the numerology hour, which is going to come on Wednesdays before the psychic hour. So it's going to be an expansion of, sharing with everybody what psychic modalities are, what, another system is to access information, to access an energetic language. All this is learning how to speak different languages and understanding what things are. That's it. When we're understanding another person, we're learning to understand their language. Yeah, maybe it's English, maybe it's Egyptian, maybe it's Arabic, maybe it's French, Spanish, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But even when you know the same language and you use the same words, you're saying this different things. You're just saying different things, and you have to learn people's love languages. You have to learn people's understanding of how they saw the world, their perspective, and it all will distill into truth, like a commonality that you can navigate. And so we're always learning how to understand energy. We're always learning how to understand to communicate. And that's why sometimes mediumship and psychic readings or numerology or astrology or card reading is so like healing and fun and insightful because it helps us get down to just understanding, articulating, defining defining and translating what's around us because we have so much longing for that in our everyday life. We have so much longing just to be on the same page or to communicate what is what and what is real to know. So, yes, I'm going to go and I'm saying hello to everybody. So, hello, Dilek. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Jennifer. And thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm excited for the numerology hour. Someone, Jennifer, was giving me congratulations on that. So I appreciate that. And we will be talking about like the energies of the day, the week, just going into much more numerology focused topics. And the psychic hour, so like right now we're in the psychic hour. It will still have a little bit of flavor numerology, but I'm going to kind of further focus on the psychic hour being more psychic readings. Unless people are just like asking for stuff, I'm happy to provide some numerology if they want. But the psychic hour will focus a little bit more on the psychic side of things, and the numerology will focus more on that because the psychic hour now has a lot of numerology in it. It does. It's a passion of mine, absolutely. But I decided to play around with having both. Okay. Someone has a numerology question. Um, they said, based on numerology, what frequency number 8 is resonating with? Okay, it's the frequent. Well, so earlier in the show, like I was talking about like truth, the vibration of truth, and how it's a physically manifesting number. Okay, that is what the number 8 is resonating with. The number 8 is the archetype of truth and power and physical manifestation. Okay. So every number has certain archetypes. And when we have those numbers within our chart, that means they're in our name with what we call ourselves and identify truly within ourselves as in various areas in our life. Okay, we could have one name at work, but we could have another name with our family, or we could have a true identity that we feel like our name is. That is the energy that we resonate with that breaks down to a number within names, or our birth date, which is much more sturdy. Okay, all those numbers that we're born on and we have within our name, they paint a story of what archetypes that we utilize with our energy, the way other people see us, the way that we speak, the way that we think, the way that we have fulfillment for our soul, the way that we have luck, the type of career that we choose. Okay. And there's numbers that layer upon each other that show us how much, let's say, 8 energy that we work with and in what category. So just because you have an 8 in your chart and another person has an 8 in their chart doesn't mean you have the same wants, needs, or desires. It means you'll have similar needs, wants, and desires. If you have 8s or other numbers in similar placements, now you're talking about similar desires. Now you're talking about operating in a similar way. Okay, where you would be quite mirrored in one another. So it's not enough to just know you have a number. You have to understand how your number works and what placement. And then the more foundation you have with knowing what numbers you have, the more you can have an accurate understanding of yourself from a numerological perspective. So in Pythagorean numerology, there's 6 core numbers that a chart is built around. There's other really important numbers too, don't get me wrong, but the 6 core numbers really help anchor things in to create an understanding of who a person is. So you look at those 6 archetypes and how they're played out within a person, and then you start building around that with other calculations. Okay. So hope that makes sense. And that's how you work with understanding frequencies within people. And Delek, no problem, no problem. 8, yes, we talked about it being the number of truth, the number of power and physical manifestation, but 8 has a lot of other things within its archetype. But when you really break it down to its core, those are the driving factors. Those are the operating factors. Such a physically powerful number. It's an earth number. Okay. It shakes up the earth. It creates and it gets to the bottom of things. Good afternoon, Stephanie. Hey. Let's see. Let's see. Based on your birth number, is truth frequency within all of us? I know you said it works similarly, but wondering so much. No, no, no. It's great. I love questions like this. that's what we do. We take questions before we open up the show. And so if you're excited about learning about eight energy, then why not, right? So all numbers have truth in them. Okay. So all numbers articulate truth. Like the truth is all around us and just speaking to us in different ways. The reason why we talk about the number of truth with an eight is because eight boomerangs with such physical intensity that it hits people over the face, that, a metaphor. It knocks people off their course and brings them physically, it pulls them physically back to the truth. It says to them, or it says to other people, no, that's not the right way, and I'm going to make you feel it in your bones. That's not the way. I'm going to make things within your world crumble and fall apart so you know what the way is. And you're going to get such physical signs that you're not going to be able to ignore this. Okay. So seven is also a number of, they're all numbers of truth. Okay. But seven is a number of truth because, for example, it gets us into the wisdom of things, it pulls at our mind, it pulls at very sensitive energies within us where we go, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't sound right. And we are mentally disturbed that something doesn't sit well with us. Eight, we are physically disturbed and we are in a physical reality where we have to physically grow and have physical changes. And that is the part of the human condition. Like we are on a trajectory to grow. Our body is changing, you know, our sense of identity is changing. Our understanding of the world is constantly changing. And we are sharing those ideas and we go, what's really real? What really resonates? Right. And we look for that in other people. And so that's why eight packs a punch with its truth because we're in a physical reality and it creates physical change and showcases signs of physical truth. It's a bit earth shattering. Okay. So that's why seven does that on the mental realm for people. Okay, so 7 and 8s they're the truth numbers, like, that really wake people up, okay? But all of numbers have, portals to truth, and everything is what it is and unlocks things within people and strengthens qualities in people, okay? So and I could get into it. I could really get into it, but I hope that makes sense. And so that's why people really revere the number eight. They think it's very lucky in certain cultures. Eight is the peak of the Lionsgate portal. People revere the number eight because there's not as many games with the truth with the number eight. It just is there. It creates change. It creates momentum. It has this flashy energy where you can't ignore it. Okay. And so that's sometimes a little bit Leo, or that's sometimes a little bit the way of the dragon, right? So, yeah, eight has energy that you can't miss. When someone has a lot of eights in their chart, especially if it's within numbers, because we have internal numbers and we have external numbers. And sometimes when we meet people, we just feel their external numbers. Okay. And so if someone has a lot of eights that are external numbers, people will go, whoa, that person is like flashy or charismatic, or that person is serious but they're strong. They feel like this strong presence within a person, and it can make them feel various things, but they can't help but notice the presence of a person within an eight. And so that happens with other numbers, and the other numbers create certain feelings within their presence, but the eight the eight can kind of it's multifaceted, but you can't help but notice that they go, oh, this person has arrived. And if a person has a lot of other positive qualities within them, that eight amplifies it. And that it's like someone can't help but notice and they start to idealize the eight. Now, if someone has, let's say, stuff they're working with within their life, or they're in a hard, between a rock and a hard place, they're going through a lot, or they're in the midst of, changing and growing, like for instance, young people, like they're changing and growing, right? Or if you're just in a hard spot within your life. If you come in with that 8 external energy, people go like, "Oh, I feel their presence. I'm not sure I like this person." Okay? But if you have all these other things that help, amplify your eights, or the eight amplifies them, honestly, you become very quite charismatic, and you can actually feel like a leader to other people very, very easily. And you're very, very, people trust you because they're like, you walk with this energy. You get things done. You walk with this energy. You are a personification of physical mastery and change. People just feel that from eights. Um, but if you, again, are a little bit shaky, a little bit rocky, they'll feel the discord. Oh, that person is a little full of themselves, or I feel that discord, or I feel like they're working on something. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. The numbers are very, very fun when you start to understand how they work and how they make people feel. That's the best part. Like, it's an encyclopedia of knowledge what numbers are, but when you actually understand how they make people feel, because that's the essence of human nature. What does it really do to you? How does it make you feel? That's when it's the good stuff. That's when it's fun. Okay? Um and to find your birth date numbers, you're going to add, so Jennifer has a question. You're going to add your month that you're born, to your day that you're born, to your full year. Okay? So for instance, like if you were born on today's date, August 9th, 2023, you're going to break down 8 plus 9 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, just straight across. And from that, you get your life path number. And within that date, you also get many other numbers. Okay? And so, yeah, they're just like that's all it is, everybody. Like within astrology and within numerology, if you're born on a day, that means that you're the structure of your body has taken on that energy. The structure of your soul has said, I have come into the world on this day, and so I radiate these numbers. That's what it means. And every day radiates numbers. And so those numbers will be in harmony or in conflict with you. And other people's harmony will be other people's energy will be in harmony or conflict with you. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's kind of how it goes. And like with business endeavors, or other things that you're interested in, those things will be in harmony or conflict with your energy too. The things that you create, right? Relationships, your children, they all have energy signatures. How easy is it to flow with that energy? That's what this all is. As you're creating a business, and you name your business, you say my business is going to do this. The archetypes of your business and the energy that you promote your business with, is that actually energy that you resonate with? Because if it's from a different archetype, other people, whether they externally or internally just resonate with your business, they're going to be like, this doesn't quite feel like you. And you're going to have problems attracting people easily, right? So we can work from any of the numbers. All numbers have things that we can work with, but it's kind of like, math and art. Some people are really good at math, some people are really good at art. And if you tell a mathematician, hey, like go into a career with art, they're kind of going to go, that sounds fun, but maybe this is going to be challenging for me. But if you tell them to go, hey, would you like to teach some math? They'd be like, yeah, this is easy. Like, why wouldn't I want to make money? Like, or why wouldn't I want to have fun with something that I could do with my eyes closed? And for the artist, would you like to, teach art? Why wouldn't I like to do that? It's super fun, and it's super, you know what I mean? So that's kind of, it's like with business, you're kind of like, why wouldn't I want to stare into ease? And then with relationships, it's more complicated. It's just like, how do I honor someone's way of doing things similar or differently than me, and not to feel discord within myself, to feel balance and to be neutral and understand that everyone works from a different way. And also align yourself if you are dating or if you are looking to get married with people who work from similar energy sources that you do, because you will communicate, function with ease, and you will feel seen and heard. You will feel like you just operate from a place that you don't need much effort to feel connected. And that's numerology for you. That's why it's so fun. Okay. Um oh yeah. I like how people are talking about synchronized numbers, and yeah, yeah. Yep, yep. Repeating numbers, synchronized numbers, similar numbers, um clusters. Right. If there's similarities within numbers, you have more ease. And there's certain numbers that have similarities. Okay? So you're not just, if you're an 8 for instance, you're not just looking for a bunch of 8s for similarities. You're looking for certain numbers that are in harmony with the 8. Okay? If you're 3, certain numbers that are in harmony with the 3. Okay? And that's where you have the ease. You don't have to have someone exactly the same as you. They just have to have similar archetypes. Okay. Oh, thank you. Yep, shout out to my grandma. My grandma made this. My grandma was um she was a really talented artist. She just did it, for fun, kind of part-time. But yeah, that rainbow's from her. So, okay. Let's go into readings for a little bit. Um, the last thing I'm going to say, I was inspired to talk about eights, the Lionsgate portal, is because eight is the number of physical change and truth. And one of the famous things that eight does is that it invites you sometimes to build from scratch. It invites you to say, hey, this doesn't work. So let's stop things and let's do two steps back. And then when we do two steps forward, it's going to be a leap because you needed to correct a couple things. So I encourage everybody with, how they're manifesting and they're growing into themselves to kind of say like, hey, what am I working on but is still really difficult? Or where do I keep kind of like making mistakes? And I enter environments with, like, let's say, anxiety, confusion, uncertainty. Okay. And there's these certain things that I know where I go, no, I should have done this, or it would have been easier to do that, but I didn't have the time, or I just needed to get it done. Well, why don't we just stop and take two steps back and make some corrections? Like, give yourself some time where maybe you have to cancel something. Maybe you have to go, okay, the plans are happening maybe next month instead, because you're going to take, instead of rushing it, you're going to take this time to have self care, reflection, or to change things that you find yourself in a cycle or repetitious behavior in. We sometimes have to change things in order for the success to happen. And eight is like, great. If you do this on your own, things are going to be really, really good. But if you don't do this on your own, there is going to be elements where you are very, very uncomfortable, whether you're suffering, whether you are in discord, whether, again, the anxiety, the confusion, the disorientation, it just continues to build. And you're like, what is going on? I'm putting effort in. What is going on? I'm showing up. What is going on? I'm doing something of quality. What is going on? People like me. You could have all those checks, check, 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 check. But if you are ignoring things, or if you know that there's a couple of things that need to be attended to, or do not feel quite right, if you ignore those things, you will still have the setbacks with the energy of 8. So if you have a lot of 8s in your chart, this really is important. If you are dealing with 8s within businesses, or if it's coming up within the day's energy, it requires you to go, hey, what's real, and what really is it going to take to fix that? what really is it going to take to address that? Okay. So sometimes you have to start from scratch, like I said. So really, really be honest with yourself and be humble with what really needs to happen to make something of quality. Okay. So that's kind of the message. And once you get behind that, you are stepping into your power because that message and that knowing was always sitting there. It's just you were rushing past it. That's what we're talking about. It's not about finding things that aren't yourself. It's about just listening to yourself and activating that. That's the power we're talking about. Okay. That's the lion's roar we're looking for. Yeah, sometimes you have to play chess with your mind. But you are the queen and king, so treat yourself like that as you're going through the trials. Okay, so let's go into readings, everybody. Let's go into readings. Pop down your numbers, pop down your questions, and we will get into it. That's what we're doing right now. Always hydrate. Always hydrate. So important. Okay. We have a lot of people talking about Lionsgate. Okay. So pop down your numbers, ask your questions. Um, everyone's asking questions today. Okay, here we go. Here we go. There's a mention of 1111. 1111 is all about new beginnings. 1111 is an open doorway or several open doorways. And so it is indicative of portal energy again. It's basically saying, like, let's restart. The eight, we talked about the eight is like, let's restart, but we have all this going on. You know what to do. The one is, hey, you're in a new phase. Something different's going to open up that you're not even going to see coming, or don't worry, what you need is going to have coming. The eight's like, is the responsibility of the energy that you're building. Okay. So anytime you see the 111, something new is coming and you're just like, hold on, it's going to get better. It's kind of a message of faith. And the eight is the message of responsibility and power. Okay. Courtney is, I love all that stuff since I was a kid, the paranormal stuff. Yeah, there's so many different avenues within the paranormal. There really are. It's not a one size fits all. That's why, I love the radio format. There's people who do investigations, there's people who are soul coaches, there's people that are healers, that are coaches in a sense where they work with the body in different ways. And then there's people who work with, like, let's say, intuitive development, and sometimes these things are combined within people, but we all have our different kind of specialities, like psychic and mediumship. um it's just dream interpretation, the numerology, the astrology. It just goes on and on and on. Like Ayurveda. um it's so fascinating. Some people are, they're ghost hunters. They're looking for existence of and evidence of energy left behind. And so some of them don't actually talk to the spirits, they just look for energetic residue. Because if you're talking to spirits, you need a medium. Okay? So again, it's just, there's so many things of what attracts us to the paranormal. That's why all these different shows are important, because it's not seen in one way. It's not seen in one way. Okay. Let's see. I was told new opportunities with 10. So 10, so some, that's a great question, Jennifer. So new opportunities, and 10 you mentioned. 10 is a 1 vibration and 1 is new opportunities because 10 is 1 plus 0, and 0 is an amplifier number. Now, 11, 11, 11, depending on how many ones there are, is not just a 1 vibration, but it has 1 master energy in it because it's a repeating 1. So it deals with new beginnings, but also other things. 10 is very much new beginnings because that 0 is amplifying the 1. Okay. And anytime you have a 0 in numerology, it just intensifies what the digit is. So, like for instance, if someone was a life path 20, they are very, 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 very sensitive. They're very, very watery, and they are highly empathetic. And so other twos will have those qualities, but not as amplified as the 20. Like, let's say, someone's a 38 2 or an 11. Most people are 11 twos. They break down into an 11, but it isn't as common to be a 22 because your birthday adds up to a 20 rather than a 38 because a 38 is an 11 vibration, for instance, or 29 is 11 vibration because you break down everything. So I hope that makes sense. New opportunities with 10 would be right on the money. Okay. So Courtney popping down some numbers, and I'm looking at these questions too. Jennifer says, does it look okay, cool. That's with readings. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's go into readings. Okay. So Courtney. That's cool. Your birthday's coming up, Courtney. Happy birthday. Not quite yet, but happy birthday. Just, yep. All right. Just checking the math. All right. So it's always nice to see an attitude 3. And I think we talked about attitude 3s before with how it's very, very natural for a attitude 3 to be talkative when they're comfortable, when they're in harmony. So continue to look for that as a sign. Um, it's funny because your personal day is 4, so that first impression that you give somebody is actually quite serious. Even if you're being funny, there's a certain degree of sensibility and seriousness about you, or you can come off across as like smart, like studious. 4 is the number of the student and the teacher. So when someone first meets a person, they think like, oh, this person's smart, or this person just like is sizing up things, no matter if you have other personality traits going on. So it's great because you will have always, with people that you're first meeting, people will tend to take you more seriously. So it's great for job opportunities. It's great for um, getting someone's attention once you start talking to them. Okay. Because you do come across as credible. Now you have to believe it. Like if you don't believe it, that's a different story. But whether or not you believe it, you will always come across as a little bit more serious. And so your attitude is quite different. And your attitude number is all about how you communicate, how you think, how you share with others, right? It's that mental connection. And so you actually need to be goofy. You need to be like fun. You need to be silly. You have a sharp wit. And if that is not present, then that is showing you that, past childhood stuff or how a person is making you feel doesn't naturally bring that out. So it's very important to talk about that. And then I just want to make sure my brain and addition today. Someday, you think as a numerologist, I would just be like, but my brain is very spastic. So it's very good for readings because you need to just grab as you go. But for mathematics, for 2 seconds, I have to go focus, Kelly. On some days, not every day. Certain days, my brain likes to dance a little bit too much. Okay, so yeah, that's right. Just double checking math. So, as a life path 6, there's going to be always this overwhelming desire to build a family network or a friendship network. Okay? Sixes have to be serving in order to be happy. They have to be serving in order to be happy, but they also have to feel valued in order to be happy. And that's like a next tier because a lot of people who have sixes, they just want to serve and they're just like, well, if no one appreciates me, whatever. But it's not whatever because six energy, if they don't have the appreciation and acknowledgement and people going, wow, like you're incredible because six energy, their workhorses. They are willing to put in so much effort into their relationships, into their work, into their friendships, like, they ooze generosity. Like, they literally are there in life for others. It's maternal energy. It's I will care for you energy. I will be there for you energy. I literally light up because I can do this for people. I can do this for another. So if they don't have the appreciation and that's within work, relationships, friendships, family, they will start to lose their light because that is just a cornerstone of who they are. They need appreciation to keep them going. It fans their heart, it fans their light. So you need to surround yourself with people who appreciate and acknowledge you. And you also need to occasionally like communicate, like, hey, this is what I do. I just want to let you know what I do to put people in check because not everyone pays attention to all the things that really go on with how much you care and how much you do. So it's important like 6 energy draws people to you. So it actually very naturally when you are in alignment, you can create environments where like there's groups that come together from your energy. Six energy is incredibly magnetic when it's in its power, when it is in its um, positive states. So self-esteem is very important, and taking self-care is very important, and getting into a leadership way in social situations is very important. Okay. In business and in jobs, a six wants to serve, and a six wants to serve in general. It does, but in more social situations, it actually does want to lead and mother and to protect and to bring others together. So these are the party planners. These are, the the people that make sure that everyone's together and having fun and is appreciated. And these are the people who are the bouncers too. They go, you're in the group. This is not good for the group. They put up the boundaries with what they will allow. So if you are not social within your life, it will really, really make you feel drained and not like yourself. So I'm encouraging these aspects within you because this is like when you look at people's energy with how they think and how they operate and what they need. If they do those things, it actually leads to so much happiness and fulfillment. So that's your road to happiness and fulfillment. You are in a cycle of one, and this is a tremendous time of change and reestablishing who you are. And you have a lot of motivation this year to kind of go, I need change. It's not easy, but I'm going to tweak this and tweak this here. And I'm really looking myself in the mirror this year. Okay. And so as long as you continue to do that and make the changes, it's going to continue to go quite well. Other years, you're going to know you have to make the changes, but you're going to be like, maybe next year, maybe when I have time. It's what happens sometimes. It's life. But this year is actually made for you to go, no, look at yourself in the mirror. You can have something different. Okay. You were getting a lot of wake up calls with things didn't work the last couple years. And this year, it's changed a lot, but it still has to change. And so that is your message. That is your message and highlighting what you need. What you need. Oh, I love it. You're like, I am. And you can resonate Good, good. Yeah, find the right people. And the best way to find the right people, Courtney, is like to take classes or be with events, or like whether you're driving or flying to things that you go, my heart is happy there. That means that you're going to find similar people, sometimes very easily, sometimes not so easily. But put yourself in environments that personify I am. Okay. Because then you start to take on that energy. Start take on that energy in everything that you do, and that you are that, so you go find that and you be that. Okay, but you have to put yourself in environments like that to amplify your energy. That's if you find it not working. If it's already working, then hurrah, right? So put yourself in different environments. That's going to be the power. That's going to be the next power move. Okay. Yes, continue to go outside your comfort zone, because for me, myself, and others, like the things that I'm working on within my life, I go, wow, that's not working. I have to continue to put myself out of my comfort zone, because what I'm doing right now, it's not working. And putting ourselves out of our comfort zone, it is terrifying, sometimes in small ways and sometimes in huge ways. So, yes, if you don't have what you want and you know how it's affected you before, keep putting yourself out of your comfort zone. It's we must. We must. And things will meet us in ways to help support our journey. Let me tell you. Okay. I love it. Talking about like the Leos up top. Okay. So let's see here. Jennifer's asking, does it look like a better opportunity for me for a location for my business downtown or by campus? Okay. So you're asking a business location question. Hmm. Business location question. I have to make sure that I'm in the energy of the question. That's really important. Hmm. Well, first of all, I feel like I'm really drawn to the word campus in the sentence, but there's like a lot of there's a lot of indecision. There's a lot of indecision here. Okay. The reason why I'm being drawn towards the word campus is because it feels like I'm being drawn out with the campus. It feels like downtown is more put together, it makes sense, but the campus is allowing you to communicate. The campus is allowing you to get out. The campus is allowing, like, the traffic, of course, but there's an element of that you're really attracted to. Like, you have a personality where you have to get out and make things happen. You have to get out there and be in the mix and kind of create your own luck. And once you start stirring the pot, you can feel like, okay, all right, we're on and moving. And that's kind of really what's going on. Like, what I'm getting for you is like, your business location, I feel right now, needs to be temporary, and that you're kind of, again, looking for on another level what works. And once that gets going, you go, okay, this is the next phase. So you're redefining your phase right now of what works for you in your business. And it's making me feel like I don't wanna put money down for the commitment because it might not work. And it's just like, why do you wanna put yourself in a situation? I feel like you've done this before. Like, why do you wanna continue to put yourself in situations where you find that it's good to be responsible, but once you are, it's not exactly what you want? And then you're just like, "Well, it's not forever, and I'll just write it out, and then we'll just continue to go on." Well, it didn't quite work. So I do feel like I would like for you to have more like online engagement. I would like for you to have more community engagement. I need you to be trying things where you are kind of tweaking how the visibility is before the physical location full I'm committed here happens. Um, I just feel like I don't know if this is right as I say it, but there's some type of rebranding going on. That could be 100% accurate, but I'm just aware of there's a redefinition within the business, And I keep seeing like logos, colors. So maybe there is a rebranding going on, but there's a redefining of how you want to work, and do not rush that. And so we've been talking about Lionsgate energy and the power of eight. And so sometimes eight is like, all right, I'm being responsible for what does or does not work. And within that, it's like it's slowing down so it can go faster later. Okay. So be in the energy of kind of playing around, trying things, and I wouldn't rush. I wouldn't rush it because it's going to feel right. And these options don't exactly feel right. Both of these things don't feel right. The campus doesn't feel right. The business downtown doesn't feel right. The ones that you're looking at right now both of them don't feel exactly right. Maybe you will find something downtown or on campus, but the 2 that you're looking at right now, and how you're thinking about it, it doesn't really fit. So it's like we need to get the energy right, and then it's going to fit, and you're gonna walk in and just be like, "Oh, I like this place. I like it. I really like this place." And to be honest, I do feel like your final location will be closer to downtown, okay? But I don't think it's the one that you're looking at right now. All right. I think you just got to get out there and mix things up a little bit first. All right. Temporary place. Temporary place. Don't rush it. That's what I'm feeling. Jennifer, being patient isn't my strong point. Yes, I'm in this situation, it will reward itself. I really feel like, I just feel like the options that you have, they're not the ones that feel natural. Okay. You're looking for that natural feeling, you're looking for that yes, and if you don't have it in external places, you have to create it within and be like, what am I really working at? How am I pulling people to me? How's their ease? How are people getting excited about my business? Do I have that vision and that activation clear? Um, I feel like for whatever reason that needs refining and rebranding, okay? And then the way opens up just with more ease from the internal to the external, okay? So there's really an element of that going on. That's what I'm concerned with more than the physical location right now. Um, okay. I'll take one more quick one. Let's do one for Caprice. We'll take a card for Caprice. Whoop, I hope that didn't sound too loud. Grab my cards and get things fall. Insight with career. Just want one more card for you, Caprice. And I don't rush things. Sometimes I do, don't get me wrong. But sometimes when we are just shuffling the cards, we don't want to rush what cards we're pulling. It's whatever feels right. Okay. So, all right, Caprice. Again, it's interesting. Again, it's kind of like what I'm getting is hold on. Things are reorientating, things are changing. Okay. So, Caprice, it's important for you to kind of shift at this moment, shift into not what you think you should do or what you think the next step should be, is what do you actually really want? Because some of the things that you're going for, you're like, well, it has most of the things that I want. So why wouldn't I work towards that? And it's just like there's elements that are not so much you anymore. So there is a change that needs to happen within your career, within what you're doing. There needs to be a tweak in your position and what you're going for. Okay. It's just the same ladder is not working. We need to actually ascend a different ladder. We need to tweak it, because I got the cards riding the wave, the magical shapeshifter, and the ghost lands. And so this is a journey that highlights what you're doing right now is not serving you going forward. It's saying ride the wave as you're doing, but this wave is not going to take you where you need to go. So you need to ride a different wave. And sometimes things are easy and we go, why wouldn't I do that? Again, that comes up very strongly. And it's just like, but you're going to get bored. You're going to get frustrated. Again, it's like not conducive work environment. I just feel like what you're going for doesn't support you. The environment doesn't support you. And this is highlighted with some of the past coworkers. Like it doesn't highlight you. You need a different type of format to support you. So that's coming in very clearly. Even if you don't know where you're going next, I'm telling you, if you stay in the same environment, you're going to get the same kind of people. I want a different kind of flavor of people for you around you. Again, this is a timeline where you kind of just have to be okay with reconfiguring, and it does take a moment of stepping back. So that comes in really strongly. During this time, meditate. During this time, imagine. During this time, journal. During this time, go to a sound bath or get into an energy that helps you open up your mind and get in touch with your soul. Okay? That's where you're at, because the universe is asking you to create magic and to create the life that you want. Okay? And that's where we're going. And that's where the real fire and passion and opening up energy is going to activate within yourself and make you feel like I'm in my next phase. Because right now, you do have that hungry drive, but you're not in your next phase. You're basically saying, okay, I'm doing this, so let's keep going. No, no, no. It's time to get into the next phase, because you feel alive, and you talk about passion, but we need to get some of that fire rekindled in a way where you're like, this is life. So let's rekindle that fire and let's know that it's not what's going on right now. And that's what I'm saying to you. So I'm glad that you understand. And so with that said, everybody, I'm giving you, oh, I love it. Okay. So you understand. Good, good. You're talking about how you've been wanting to write and teach. Yeah. Get into that frame of creativity. Get into that fire. Get into whether, you start doing it on the side as a hobby, that you start talking about it, make it a part of your life, and find things that can help you do that more and more. And there you go. I'm sending love to everybody. I will be back on Friday. We're going to be doing actually a mixture of an interview reading show on Friday. We're going to have the lovely Leanne Thomas on, and she is a master of working with angels and oracle cards. So we're going to be talking, but we're also going to be doing dual oral card readings. So we're going to be tag teaming and having a lot of fun and just seeing what we get. So come in on Friday at 1 p.m. for the Psychic Hour with Leanne and I, and it's going to be just pure fun and a lot about cards that day. All right. So with that said, I'm wishing you all love, luck, light, and laughter, and don't forget to live. See you on Friday, everybody. Take care.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.